Jaguar hasn't had a rival for the BMW 3 Series since the X-Type ceased production back in 2009, so the XE has been a long time coming. But was it worth the wait, and can it really take on the Germans? The XE's mainly aluminium body has been given a sleek coupe-like profile. However, while undoubtedly sporty and bearing familiar Jaguar design cues, the XE has been designed to be a little bit more conservative to ensure it has wide-ranging appeal. Personally, I really like this front end. It's very aggressive, very Jaguar. This sloping roofline is very sloping. It's going to be interesting to see just how much space there is there in the back. We'll find out in a moment. Now, I want you to see the back end of this car because it is tamer than the rest of it. I mean, on the pictures that I saw of it earlier, it didn't look that great, but here in the metal, it's much better than I expected. But anyway, you know, who cares what I think? What do you think? Let us know in the comments box below, because after all, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. While we're around the back, we'll check out the boot itself. Now, it's actually packed full of the covers that they used to unveil the car with. And let me tell you that there's 485 litres of space in there, which is 5 more than you get with its German rivals. So it's England 1, Germany 0. Now, you don't get to say that very often. Inside, Jaguar has tried to give the XE a very sporty feel. For instance, the dials are actually inspired by those on the F-Type. The car also gets Jaguar's new 8-inch coloured touchscreen, which is easier to operate than before, and you can get things like a Meridian sound system on the options list. This car does actually feel very sporty to sit in. You sit nice and low. In fact, you're lower than you are in the XF, and the driving position, it's really nice. The quality of the materials is good as well. I mean, it doesn't quite have those little elements of luxury flair that you get in the C-Class, but it's still very nice overall. Jaguar has also tried to make this car very sporty to drive. The body is 20% stiffer than the XF's, and it's got a new range of gearboxes. There's an all-new 6-speed manual. You've also got a reworked version of the 8-speed auto. It's the first Jaguar to get electric power steering, and you can alter the weight of the steering at the touch of a button. And as well as rear-wheel drive versions, you'll be able to get four-wheel drive versions of the XE. The flagship XES gets a 336 brake horsepower 3-litre supercharged V6 from the F-Type, and that should be good for 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. However, there are also a new range of 4-cylinder engines which will be built in Wolverhampton. The entry-level model gets a new 2-litre diesel engine with 161 brake horsepower. However, it should be good for 75 miles per gallon, and if you look down here, it's promising just 99 grams per kilometre of carbon dioxide. So it should be a huge hit with fleet buyers, but will it be a hit with families? Well, let's go check out the back seats to find out. Now I'll just clamber across in a rather undignified manner. Okay, so knee room's actually all right, and this chair is slid pretty far back. I don't think people would normally sit like that. The issue is always going to be with headroom with this car with the sloping roofline. Now, they've tried to put a cutaway into the roof, but if I sit up very straight, my head is just touching the roof there. But if I slouch a bit, it is just about okay. So, yeah, it's not quite as good as the class leaders back here. The Jaguar XE will go on sale early next year, priced from around £27,000 for this entry-level model. Now that does make it ever so slightly more expensive than the BMW 316D, but the BMW is less well equipped and a lot slower. And I think the BMW is actually going to have a real fight on its hands with this car. And I think Jaguar are really onto a winner.